Right now we have about 8 billion people on this planet. 2.3 out of them already living in water-stressed areas. 44% of the water is not treated. So 80% you simply throw away. Most important water reuse project there in the Gulf countries, like the awareness and the openness for water reuse projects in Dubai is extremely high.
Olaf, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Quickly, tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, that's fast done.
Okay.
About 3 decades ago,
Yeah.
I finished university. I studied environmental technology in Germany, and the focus at the time was on water and wastewater.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing since.
Okay.
In mostly Southeast Asia, Middle East, the US, and Europe.
Yeah. In the 30 years since you started when you got into the industry, what would be the biggest change you've seen?
I think the biggest change is happening right now.
Okay.
If you look at, for example, 30 years back, when I finished university, my professors told me, oh, we are doing this forever, and we continue doing this.
Yeah.
And this is something what had to change. Because if you look, for example, a recent discussion I had here in the area with a long-term friend of mine.
Yeah.
And his family is raising camels since ages, generations. And today, he told me, he said, I don't understand the reproduction rate. So baby camels
Yeah.
are coming very bad to none. I said, well, give me a sample of the water they are drinking. And I sent it to the lab. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And there was fairly high levels of estrogen. And then he told me, hey, the anti-baby pill is forbidden in our country. I said, yeah, but you have the same clouds and you have the same aquifer than the rest of the world. So
Interesting.
So in other words, if you throw or put something in the water in Europe,
Yeah.
it will reach the Middle East sooner or later. And this is what it does in the whole world. And this is what people need to understand.
Wow.
So if you keep the water clean in Europe, that's nice. But if you don't keep it clean, for example, in China, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
So it's a global issue.
Yeah.
Because it takes you have certain levels of aquifer.
Okay.
The highest one, like in Ireland and Scandinavia, you don't need to drill very deep. So this is a local aquifer, a local groundwater table.
Okay.
Then you go another level deeper. This is more a regional one, let's say European one.
Yeah.
But then you go the next depth, so maybe 1,000 meter, 1,200 meter deep. This is a global aquifer. That is in certain steps, but it goes all around the world.
Interesting.
Yeah. So very, very much you can see it, or very explicit you can see it in the United States. If you go from New York down to Florida, it's one water table. And that's about 4,500 kilometers, something like that.
That's a. I never knew that. So, go back to the story to Camel. Would that have been common knowledge that this is a possibility? Like, did you see this before in other areas where you're seeing?
I expected it.
Okay.
Because I work in that field.
Yeah.
But it is not common knowledge.
Yeah.
People in Europe right now, we are talking about a 4th treatment step.
Right.
Of water or sewage treatment in the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
That 4th step is medical residues, hormone residues. It shall include PFAS and microplastics.
Right.
So microplastics, everybody knows, because you can see in a microscope, if you cut a fish open, you see the microplastic.
Yes.
The aromatics, so the dissolved contents, you don't see.
Yeah.
So you don't realize them. But in Germany, they did water quality testing a couple of years back, and they found out that we have extremely high amounts in the more dense
Yeah.
the area is populated, of course, the higher,
Yeah.
and in higher aquifers. But you see that there is ibuprofen, and you have areas you don't need, if you have a hangover, you don't need to take a headache pill.
Just drink the water.
Just drink water.
Really?
Yeah. So you have the ibuprofen in the water, you have microplastics, you have PFAS, you have hormones, estrogen mainly, and you got all that.
But the quantities and the levels are high enough that they're
They affect.
really.
They do affect.
Wow.
This is why the European Commission made a law some 5 months back,
Yeah.
that until 2030, a fourth treatment step is mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah, but if only Europe is doing it, in Europe we have 340 million people.
Yeah.
On the Earth we have about 8 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is lots of work to do.
Who would be obviously, like when you think of biggest offenders, you think America and China, but would they be the biggest offenders of these kind of?
I think China will be number one.
Okay.
Because they simply don't care.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a monetary issue simply.
Yeah.
In China you have 1.5 billion people, 1.8 billion people.
Yeah.
If you want to treat that, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
And they have many areas where they have enough water. Quality is discussable.
Yes.
And if you look at the US, 340 million people. If
Right.
you look at all of Europe is just 330 million.
Yeah. What about this part of the world? How's this part of the world in regards to that kind of treatment of it and awareness and that kind of stuff?
Well, if you're talking to the responsible people here, like out of the industry,
Yeah.
these people are very aware and very open to solutions. And I see the biggest advantage here in the region that they know if they don't do anything,
Yeah.
there is no water anymore.
Yeah. I think with water over here, maybe it's treated a little bit differently than.
It starts to.
Yeah.
It starts to. You feel a lot more awareness. Like, yes, the water consumption here is about 4 times per capita than what it is in Europe or in the United States. But I think the awareness is growing.
Just a quick question on what a previous guest said. I was going to ask, with the water being used 4 times per capita, is that because of the climate? Is that because swimming pools? I've gone out and it's warm and it's too hot. I have to drink more water because it's hotter.
Very simple. You mentioned one imminent point. Take a Google Earth picture from the area here.
Yeah.
Count the swimming pools. Take one from any town in Europe. Count the swimming pools.
Yeah.
That's a big point.
Yeah.
And another one is, for example, that because of the temperature, like when I'm here, when I'm in Europe, I have my shower in the morning every day.
Yeah.
When I'm here and I'm walking a bit outside, I have maybe 2, maybe 3 showers a day.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But
So
how do you, because it is treated probably as a luxury, how do you treat that? How do you tell someone who's come to Dubai or UAE or Saudi or in the Middle East, how do you get them to go, the water usage is too much? How do you kind of integrate that into their system?
it's fairly simple. How do you get the water here? And how do you get the water in Europe?
I'm going to show my ignorance. I don't know.
Okay. In Europe, you drill a hole in the ground.
Yes. Well, yes.
or you take the next river, or you take the next lake.
Yes.
What is the cost of it? 0. It's there.
Yeah. Okay.
Here, try to drill a hole in the ground. You drill a lot before you reach at maybe 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer depth, any water.
Really? That far?
So most of the water here is from desalination plants.
Yes.
So this means you already have cost, what in Europe or Scandinavia or the US is for free. You already have a cost here.
Right.
And the cost for 1 cubic meter, so 1,000 liter
Yeah.
of desal or seawater
Yeah.
made drinkable
Yeah.
is between $2 and $5.
Okay.
So this is cost you don't have in Europe.
Yeah.
And then still you need a piping network, you need storage tanks, you need all of that what you have in Europe in addition. And that breaks it down that the cost of 1,000 liter, only the cost, nobody makes that a profit, will reach about $10 to $15.
Oh, okay.
And so you go up and up. So to have a liter of water, in the end of the day, to have a liter of water in your house and drink it, the cost of that liter of water is somewhere between 20 cents and 40 cents.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But it's nicely enough the same water what you buy for $3 or $5 in the bottle.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah? So next step, you have produced now water. It's available.
Yeah.
And it's like you use it once and throw it away. And that's nonsense. So that's why I'm saying right now we are facing the biggest change.
Right.
Right now we are talking about water reuse. And here's some very simple facts. Yeah? Right now we have about 8 billion people on this planet. 2.3 billion out of them already living in water-stressed areas, means they do not have enough drinking water.
Okay.
That is about 25%, 28% of the world population.
Yeah.
Right now, already 40% of the world's population is affected at any given time of the year by water scarcity.
When you say that, though, are we like when I hear that, I automatically think third world countries. Are they the region that we're thinking?
Yes,
like,
but
or is it?
if you look at 2021, the north of Germany was in a drought.
Right. Okay.
Today, southern Spain, Portugal,
Right.
California.
It can hit everywhere. Yeah.
It can hit everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you need to think, how is this water treated? Well, 44% of the water is not treated well enough. That means Legionella is transported, E. coli is transported.
Yeah.
Various other bacteria and viruses are transported, getting to our house.
Yeah.
Look at this area. You have, on each house, you have a big water tank. The temperature is high. If safely treated nice water has been in touch with the air,
Okay.
again, bacteria coming there, they need to reproduce maybe 8 to 12 hours.
Right. Okay.
So it is a constant treating of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, one way is hypochlorine or chloride
Yeah.
to put it in the tap water. As long as you can smell it, it is active.
Oh, interesting.
When you don't smell it anymore,
That's when you need it.
that's when you would need it. Yes. Yeah. You see, my subject today,
Yeah.
last year's and in the future, is water reuse.
Okay.
Why is it water reuse? Because 80% of the water we are producing for either a lot of money or not so much money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But 80% is going back untreated, safely at least,
Yeah.
into the ecosystem. So 80% you simply throw away.
And that's it. Done. Waste.
Yeah, so you go to a restaurant, and you eat 20%, the rest is thrown away. Everybody would say that's a waste.
Yeah.
But this is what is done with our water.
See, it's interesting when you say it like that. It's kind of like eye-opening. You never think of it in those terms. Kind of like whatever. But when you say it in kind of terms that affect you, like you said, like you go to a restaurant or you buy a car and you only use 20% of it, or whatever, 20% of anything, and 80% of it was waste. Then it's kind of like
80% you throw away.
Yeah. Wow.
And this is what we are doing with the water. And now here we have desal conferences, we have water reuse conferences starting here in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And especially here in the Middle East, people are extremely aware of and fond of finding solutions.
Yeah.
And because the water is very expensive, to make it first.
Yeah.
Which most industrial countries getting for free.
Yeah. Do you think that over here in the Middle East, for example, because the population is growing, especially Dubai and Saudi now, is that they are thinking 10, 20, 30 years in the time when the population will go from 3 million, 10 million, 15 million, what they're projecting, that's what they are now trying to get ahead of the curve before it happens, before it gets too bad? Or?
Well, the point is, today, around about in the whole Middle East, about 80% of the water need to be or is coming from desal, so from the ocean. So you take water out and you put highly salted water as a waste back into the ocean.
Okay.
The question is, how long can you do it?
Oh, recycle to keep it there.
To concentrate up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah? So this is a big question mark. So does it make sense to reuse the water? Yes, of course. So if you look, the first and most important water reuse project, they are on, and also the world's largest.
Yeah.
They're here in the Gulf countries, like in Kuwait.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest water reuse project is in Kuwait, worldwide.
Really?
The awareness and the openness for water reuse projects in Dubai is extremely high. Or in Saudi Arabia, like everybody knows about the big Neom project.
Yeah.
And they at least try to implement grey water reuse, double circulation of the water so that you recircle the water within your household or within the hotel.
So you keep it in the system and then... okay.
Because once it was in the toilet, it need to go to the sewage. That's clear. But when you had a shower with the water, you can use it to flush the toilet by just doing some simple cleaning steps.
Yeah.
Or what they are doing now is they want to prevent the plastic bottles to be used that frequently.
Yes.
Yeah. If you look at the Middle East, they are in a very good way, but Hong Kong enforced it already. No plastic bottles anymore in the hotels.
Okay.
The hotels are not allowed to use plastic bottles anymore. You have to use either glass bottles or you put filtration systems in the guest room.
Yeah.
So this is a very first step. Because even if you think, nice plastic bottle, I go in the supermarket, get a plastic bottle. Look at the temperatures we have here.
Yeah.
What do you think? Plastic in itself would be very hard. So to make it a little bit softer and usable, you put in softness. Unfortunately, when they get warm, they evaporate in the air and in the water. So you drink them. That's not very healthy.
And because over here in Dubai, plastic bottles is massive.
Yes.
Like, that is probably one of the most staple deliveries you're going to get is your 6-pack of plastic waters. Do you think the technology will soon be able to, I suppose, deal with it? Like,
you have a lot of research going on in regards to biodegradable plastic, so organic plastic.
Yeah.
Second, you can outlaw it.
Yeah.
Or you can outlaw the use of any PU, PP, whatever plastics.
Yeah.
And you can enable the people to make the water at the tap in their home, which is easy, drinkable. See, there's a lot of filtration systems out.
Okay.
And of course, people need to get themselves a little bit informed because there's ones out there are rubbish. So everybody knows this can
Yeah.
where you put in, very cheap, where you put in, it's like a filter in that size.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they say, okay, that cleans the water. It does nothing.
Really?
It's very common. They sell millions of it.
But does nothing.
Yeah. But it does nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's marginal.
Right.
And then out of the Far East, there is some products coming, they do nothing. Yeah. But if you look at, let's say, trustable countries, there's very good systems coming out of Switzerland. Extremely well-made systems.
Yeah.
There's well-made systems coming out of Austria, out of Italy, and out of Germany. That's the one I'm aware of.
Yeah. But do you find out, because I'll be speaking from my side, what's the cost difference? Because you always associate those countries with quality.
Yes.
But you also will associate those countries with cost. You pay for what you get.
Simple. If I'm looking at, to my knowledge, the most advanced system right now, with one cartridge, you get 5,000 liters.
Okay.
And so the system, if you buy it the first time, is maybe $250, $300.
Yeah.
And to exchange the cartridge, let it be 100. So it's over the first, a normal person, three head household, needs about 5,000 liters per 6 months.
Okay.
And you don't need it in the shower. You need it where you drink it and use it for cooking.
Yeah.
Obviously, no?
Yeah.
So if you look at that, 5,000 liters, the cost of that is initially 300, so you're talking cents.
Yeah.
And then each exchange cartridge is approximately 100, so you're talking even less. So that's nothing.
Yeah.
If you look how many plastic bottles you buy and what you pay for.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
That's the main point.
Yeah, I think if you add up all, like, just for my own sake, I would probably get at least 12 2-liter bottles of plastic a week.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum.
So that's about 12 1.5 liter bottles.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 18 to 20 liters per week for drinking purpose.
And that's probably not enough if I go by... It's amazing because, like, if I go by the fitness industry...
Yeah.
And their marketing campaigns, I'm like, well, I need to get at least 3 bottles of water in a day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's 2 bottles.
You need to add the pint of beer. That's also water.
Oh, well, that's just breakfast. That's the most important meal of the day. But it's just a case of the marketing. I find it's amazing how marketing can creep in, and like the biggest beneficiary of people drinking 1.5 liters of water a day is probably the companies that are selling the water.
Well, here's another point there, and that's funny enough because Coca-Cola or the other breweries, they already use, for the water they are using, they use such cleaning systems. They have to purify the water.
Yeah.
So it runs through activated carbon, microfiltration, ultrafiltration, etc., etc. Hopefully not through RO.
Yeah.
Because the common RO, or reverse osmosis, is taking everything out of the water.
Okay.
Really everything. You have pure H2O.
Right.
And H2O is highly reactive. So you drink that, enjoy it, because it extracts all the minerals out of your body.
Oh, right.
So you can make self-experiments. Drink RO, pure RO water, which is not enriched with minerals.
Right.
Drink it for maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
You have no energy anymore. You are done with minerals.
This could be a fantastic experiment to have.
Yeah.
I have family coming over, and they might be annoying me. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions. We've covered a lot, but let me just go through one of the questions here. And we've kind of basically covered it. What is water reuse? In your, like...
Water reuse is basically the water is going into your house.
Yeah.
Leaving your house, going into the sewage treatment.
Yeah.
That is, in my opinion, the most sensible way.
Okay.
And in the wastewater treatment side, it will be made ready to reuse it again. So that's your house.
Right.
Now I look at industry. You have cooling towers. That water can constantly be reused until you only need to add maybe 5% new water.
Right.
You don't need to dump it.
Yeah.
Or if you look at power production, at data centers, all the water can constantly be reused.
Right.
If you look at food processing, they consume a lot of water. If you look at agriculture, 70% of the water in the world used is agriculture.
Right.
So if you use for the agriculture water what has been used already and is coming from the sewage treatment, that water is purified, it is clean, it is clear, there's no bacteria in, it just needs a fourth treatment step and can be used as grey water.
Okay.
Yeah, that only requires today to make the fourth treatment step in wastewater treatment.
Right.
Then it is grey water and it is safe to put in agriculture.
Yeah.
And there is enough technology out. Like in Germany, we are doing right now a research project. In this one, we want to make a container, 20-foot, 40-foot container.
Okay.
Where we plug into the sewage piping.
Okay.
Clean the water up. Put the sludge back into the piping system.
Right.
So don't consider this, think of sludge like very heavy. The sludge is having only 1 to 2% solid concentration.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can have in the container transportable, like wherever we need and where it is right now dry, we can plug in and clean and irrigate a park, irrigate a field, irrigate a city forest.
What would be the cost of that? Just out of curiosity, what would, like, if say for example, next door said we'd love one of those units, what would be the cost of that unit?
You always have a size cost.
Yeah.
Curve. So if you build one of these containers, the cost is 1 million.
Right, I get.
If you build 100 of them, the cost is maybe 200,000.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand?
Yeah.
So it's always whatever you do in a prototyping or on a research site.
Yes.
There is no sense in saying, okay, what is the cost of it? But once you say, okay, now I have a product, and this is when you can say, okay, and how many clients do I have? How many do I need to make?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can size it up, and then usually it is not a big...
do you think that's going forward, that'll be the future?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be the...
it cannot be that, again, 80% of the water is just thrown away.
Yeah.
Not even treated.
Yeah.
And if you look at the energy side, the most energy is already consumed. That is the aeration side.
Okay.
The filtration side, it's a mechanical filter.
Yeah.
The pump is there anyway. So you just need to put the additional filter.
And add on.
Yeah. Just at the effluent of the sewage treatment plant, you put the easiest way, a UF filter.
Yeah.
Or inside of the treatment plant, in the aeration, you put an MBR called membrane bioreactor, which is ultrafiltration membranes, and the clean water is basically taken by pump, taken out through the UF membrane.
Why do you think it's not been done already? Why do you think, like, it sounds like it's common sense. It sounds like it's beneficial. It sounds like it's...
Oh, in the Middle East,
yeah,
it is the most growing market in this kind of technology. If you look at
really?
The city of Muscat,
yeah.
Oman,
yeah,
they have a MBR project running, operating since 10 years already. 120,000 cubic meters a day. But the water is not reused.
Right.
They prepared everything, but there is still some legislation what need to be done to use the water completely for irrigation.
So, but again, and you're in, like, your expertise, why not? Why has someone not gone the next step?
Mindset.
Okay.
it's a lot has to do with mindset.
Right. Dirty water.
It's dirty water. If I put it in front of you, you don't smell anything, you don't see anything, it's clear water.
Yeah.
But if you know it comes from the toilet of your neighbor,
Yeah.
in the end of the day, you don't like it.
Right.
So even it is safe to, nobody says you have to drink it, but use it for irrigation, use it for cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that can, let's say, save a lot of water and a lot of problems for the future.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking of like consumer base. I don't think industrial side, but for example, could you fill your swimming pool with it? That water?
Of course.
No problem. Like there'd be no health and safety issues. It's fine.
No, not at all. Look, you will have bacteria. So if you have a swimming pool, what do? You have either an ozonation system or a chlorination system or any cleaning system, chemical cleaning system.
Yeah.
Because the water is in constant touch with the atmosphere, with the air.
Yeah.
In the air, you have bacteria. When a human being is going inside, there's even more bacteria.
Yeah.
And so the water needs constantly to be cleaned. If you have a water reservoir for drinking water, it's the same thing.
Same, yeah. Suppose, yeah.
If you have a tank on top of the house, it's the same thing. So in this regards, you always have to clean. And that is the same with the water. It's coming from the treatment side, clean.
Yeah.
But you need to keep it clean. Either chemically or with ozonation or with UV or with filtration system.
Yeah.
That's all the most common things. Yeah. And even WHO, they made a clear statement, whatever water is reused or whatever water you use, it has to be cleaned on a log 5 level.
Okay.
What does log 5 mean? Log 5, it's 5 digits, 10,000 bacteria coming.
Right.
1 is allowed to pass. So the most common UF, ultrafiltration cleaning systems, they are going better than log 5. They are going log 7, which means 1 million bacteria coming, 1 is passing.
Really? So the technology is there. So basically then it's just a case of mindset and marketing.
Absolutely.
Someone has to come in and convince
that
this is the way forward. We need this.
Yeah. Someone has to come and say, hey, this is what we are doing.
Yeah.
Someone has to tell the people simply, okay, nothing happens to you. You will not feel a bad taste.
Yeah.
You can use it for your pool. You can use it to wash your car. You can use it to water your lawn or your plants.
Yeah.
You can use it for agriculture and nothing is happening.
Do you think that though the stumbling block is because there's no need to use the reused water at this stage? Like I said, I'll go in and I'll turn my tap on. I'll turn my shower on. I don't care about the reused water. Would it take that kind of someone to go, well, if you're going to use it, if you don't use the reused water, it's going to cost you?
I think the price of water, it's with everything. Yeah. Why is gold expensive? Why are diamonds expensive? If there would be an abundance of gold and diamonds, it wouldn't be expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so far people think we have an abundance of water.
Yeah.
We don't have anymore. Yeah. We are running out of. And there's one thing. The planet, Earth, is going to survive without us.
Yeah.
Just us is going to be extinct.
Yeah, yeah. But we're just kind of, I won't say lazy, but ignorant to it. At this stage, it's ignorant.
Yeah.
Will the technology and the situation depend on the region? So it'd be a different situation in Europe than it will be in Middle East. America might be different to China.
Technology is there.
Okay.
Of course, it can be improved. It can be made better. But the most common RO, reverse osmosis systems, ultrafiltration systems, microfiltration systems, activated carbon filters. So filtration is various kinds, is the most common way to go.
Yeah.
Secondly, For the polyaromatics, it's activated carbon.
Right.
And that's also a most common way to go. You have then, of course, thermal treatment and boron electrode treatment. This is highly expensive, and only like if you have really water nobody likes to treat, like the water you have after the catastrophe in Fukushima.
Okay.
Even that can be treated. So
Really?
the technology is there, maybe good, maybe on the way to develop, but the technology in itself is there.
Yeah.
And people need to have the awareness to use the technology. It is not helpful to put ideologies out and say you're not allowed to shower anymore. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
But you have to use the technology available, and you need to be willing to use good technology.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this will be a few dollars more in the capex, so in the capital expense, in the initial cost.
Yes.
But you will see the results in the operational expense because they will go down. And this is in the very beginning, you did ask me when I see the most changes right now, because the mindset of the people is changing, and they are looking more and more into operational expenses.
Okay.
So
but do you mean that as they're more conscious of it now than before, or are they thinking in the future?
Most people I talk to, they are thinking in the future, because many projects today, they are built as a so-called build, own, operate, transfer system. So whoever builds it is responsible for 10, 15 years of operations.
Okay.
And I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you're responsible for the next 10, 15 years, you're not saving a few dollars in the capital invest initially. You're forced to look in the future.
Yeah.
Because it's your money.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, everything turns down to money.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to go.
Do you find that the region in here, though, are more open to technology?
Yes.
They're more open in this region?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you do water technology, if you look at water reuse, you definitely should look at the Middle East, definitely should look at the GCC countries, and there, for me, the UAE are absolute preferred starting point, because if you can prove your concept here, it will be adapted basically ASAP.
Okay.
If you look at Europe, it is so highly overregulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just, I was here a couple of years ago. The whole environment here where we are sitting right now was desert.
Yeah.
And within a couple of years, there's a whole city being built. In the same time, maybe construction permission would have been sorted in Europe.
Yeah.
So this is what you're looking at. Europe versus the Middle East.
Yeah.
Mainly GCC countries. Here things are happening.
Yeah.
Because where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Europe, first you have to overcome all bureaucracy. And by now people are getting tired.
Yeah.
Industry is getting extremely tired. And as you can see, mainly in Germany, industry is leaving.
Oh, okay.
They're going other countries.
Yeah.
Because if I want to build a house by myself, I expect between 2 and 3 years permission time.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm not building anymore.
Yeah. You want to be in the house. Is there a water reuse strategy in the Middle East?
Yes. The GCC countries, what I mentioned before, they do have a strategy. They formed it. Our UAE is leading it. It's Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, under leadership of UAE. They formed a unified water strategy until the year 2035.
Okay.
to implement water reuse and water purification.
Right.
The technical, let's say, fine-tuning is not done.
Right.
But this is things discussed like right now at the conference, what is happening in Dubai at the WETEX. This is where discussions are ongoing.
Yeah.
And
what would be the biggest pushback in the Middle East? What would be is it the situations that are going on, or is it kind of, are they waiting for someone to go first, or are they waiting for someone to put their money up first, or what would be the biggest?
I think there has been a lot of throwbacks in the past, and they don't want to waste time.
Right.
Because they know they're running out of time.
Yeah.
As they are running out of water.
Yeah.
And that means they go fast into let's go for a pilot stage.
Right.
We are in a few situations, in a few projects we are piloting right now, just to give proof of concept.
Right.
And I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you prove, for example, you promise, okay, I do aeration cost efficient, more cost efficient than it is now. And you say, according to my calculation, I can save 25% energy. Means also I can save 25% space, means I can treat 25% more with the same effort as today.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I state it and I prove it, then in the Middle East it is imminently set into place.
Right. They don't wait.
No.
They're happy.
Look at Neom.
Yeah.
It was talked about, it was started, and now it's nearly done.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from the line.
Yeah.
But everything else is happening.
Yeah.
So I think it's a progressing area, and I think if you work in the water field, it's an area to go.
Exciting. Lastly, you've been in the industry for 30 years. Where do you think the industry will be in 30 years?
Hopefully 100 years ahead.
Really?
We have to do a lot. Look, if I see the development, let's say, happening the last 5 to 10 years, that is probably more than the 40 years before.
Okay.
And I think with AI, with chips getting more and more storage capacity, there's so much what can be done.
Okay.
For example, there is right now experiments going on that when you have a water storage and you have a plant, you put a sensor, and only as many drops as the plant right now needs will go to the plant.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but of course, computer programs in the past couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because there was not enough storage, not enough program, not enough AI. So this is where AI really can help.
Yeah.
Yeah. To see, okay, now we have this temperature and this is the dryness of the ground, and now I need every hour 5 drops, and this plant is growing nicely. More is not needed. And this is ways, I think, to go.
Yeah.
And if you look at Dubai, they have huge hydroponic farms.
Yeah.
Where the water is 100% reused, recycled, just cleaned up in between, and then fed with the nutrients the plant need. So this is ways where we have to go.
So you're excited?
Yes.
Good.
That's what I say. The best time in this business is now, because now is the time of the most changes.
Brilliant. Olaf, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Expect performance.